Hello. Hello. Boom. Ah, the button. Ah, I'm here. Can you see me? Yes, you can see me. Good evening. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. How are you today? My side, everything good. You went a bit late yesterday night, huh? So that costed a bit of that was a bit hard today, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. What we want to do is to finalize this discussion about lights, and so I learned a few things more, but still I'm a bit confused about the static lights. And the thing that I'm confused about static lights is that it seems that in the test level they work differently than in my game. I don't know exactly why, but reading the web, basically nearly everyone says that static light should not affect movable objects, and that static light should be used only for places where that are a bit far away from the players. But at the same time, there are other peoples that are developing like mobile games that are saying, for my mobile games we can only use static lights because otherwise they will not run on your mobile, because in terms of performances. And so they say, yes, we are using static lights only. So I'm a bit confused. And the the thing that confused me the most is this example, where my character is actually getting properly lit by a static light. And if I drop an item like this item is actually lit by the static light, which in theory should only be applied to the walls and not to me by the nature of a static light. So and yes, you can say there is the volumetric light mass which is doing this job, and I say, okay, then if the volumetric light mass is working here, it should work also in my game. But for whatever reason, in my game, it doesn't. And it is what I don't get. What I really, really, really don't get. So, but, I think we have a way out, meaning that doing some tests anyway with static lights, I think they are very, very cheap and very nice on one side, because they are performance-wise, they are great, but at the same time, they don't cast shadows. They don't use any kind of reflection or specular when. So let me show you that, because maybe that's not very clear what I'm saying. So if I go here and I drop this item in front of the light, right? You see that the item itself, let me try maybe here. The item itself is pretty flat, right? So it doesn't have any kind of reflection. The light is really not reflecting into the surface in any way, right? So it's a super flat surface. While if I drop it here, maybe a bit more to the front. No, I cannot. Like here, yes. You see that now this one is reflecting. Sorry, it's not very easy to find a good. Okay. Is reflecting the light, and you can actually see the light inside the object, right? So I mean, the object, it looks much more realistic. So it is because this light is an active light. So at the end, I think so the takeaway for me is was a good idea to test all of this, and if static light would have worked as promised, I would have used them maybe. But at the end, if we cannot, I cannot spend 1 week trying to figure out why. And at the end, these lights are nicer lights, because as you can see, they cast shadows, they cast reflections and everything, and so they are nicer lights. Now you see also the shadow of the character, right, on the ground. So I think at the moment we are gonna risk it a bit, meaning that we are gonna use stationary lights instead of static. We are not going to the dynamic range because that will be too costly. We know it already. I see that the stream is lagging a bit. Is it better? Yes. So we are not going to the dynamic lights because they will be probably too costly, right? But we are going in the middle, so which is this breed of static and dynamic, which is called the stationary, which is the one that you see here. And so we're gonna risk it a bit. We are going with these lights and see what happens. Okay. Because anyway the other lights have so many disadvantages. I think it will look anyway pretty bad if you have a very strong light like this and you don't see your shadow, right? And you see your shadow everywhere else except where we have the static light. So I think we may still use static lights, but only when they are far away from, well, not far away, but let's say relatively away from a player area, right? So like if we have something on top of a rock and the rock is not climbable, then it's okay. We can put a static light at the top. Okay, so I think this is my takeaway because I don't want to spend more time going crazy about this. If any of you of the guys that know Unreal Engine, like I've seen yesterday a few people that were proficient really with Unreal Engine, you want to try to find a solution and you want to try to maybe simulate the same case, they will be very helpful, and maybe I can go back on this decision later on. Okay, I mean, it's not a big issue in changing the lights. Yes, we have hundreds, but I mean, it's okay. I can even make a script maybe that is changing them automatically. I don't know. The other thing that I was doing now before connecting was to test why the skybox was not becoming black, right? And the reason is that in the level there is also fog, right? Atmospheric fog, which is basically the effect that makes things fade in the distance, right? And so changing the color of the fog as well, in addition to the color of the light and the color of the skybox, actually gives us a proper night also in the skybox, right? Which is great. So we can have a night. Now I think I need now to revert everything I did in the last few tests, right? And remake this level what it was. So rebuild it so that is yeah. So that is again the real city. I don't know if that will trigger, probably yes, it will probably trigger the recalculation of the lights, which takes about 1 hour, but I think I can avoid doing it, and we will stay with broken lights during the stream, and then I will do it maybe while sleeping or something, right? So I don't think we are forced to do it, right? But at least we will have the right setup. I think with stationary lights, anyway, we need to build them, because stationary lights are a breed between static and dynamic, and I think anyway they are using somehow light maps, at least for the objects At least for the objects that are static objects, right? Now for the others probably not, but for those, yes. Okay, so I think that is the plan for tonight. I hope we can proceed a bit, you know, and do some actual stuff. So I think that the idea is close this one, right? Save it and close it. Save this one. Well, I mean, at this point it's not even useful saving it. The only thing I have to remember is this, because this one I will roll back. So maybe let me just take a quick screenshot of this, because this is the only addition that I did to affect the volumetric fog and ensure that also the fog is changing color, right? Now in terms of settings, but I will see. But the rest, in theory, the rest is identical, right, to what we checked in yesterday evening before the stream, or let's say in the middle of the stream. Okay, let me try a revert of all of this. Okay, so I need to revert. PS character, why it changed? I have no idea. But anyway, I will revert everything because we did only destructive tests. So I will revert PS character and the main Iliacum map. So those two will be reverted, right? So revert basically means that I'm losing the local changes, okay? I will revert the main map for sure. I will revert the skybox, which should be it. I will revert this one. I will revert the chest. We did all the, you know, all the test on the chest. I will revert this one, the skybox, and the other skybox. So basically, we will be back to a clean or kind of clean situation, like it was yesterday before starting the destructive tests, right? This one is not really needed. We can revert it as well. Okay, so now we should be again in a clean situation, hopefully, right? So I think we need a kind of let me start the editor. I think we need a kind of a small guide on the choices that we made. Maybe I can create a new page in the wiki and just call it something like like light setup. I think it can be, because I think we have naming convention, triangle counts, character rigging, character creature socket, character size, city design workflow. I don't know if in the city design workflow, no, it's basically an empty page. Okay. Optimization of light maps. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. I think it doesn't have a lot to do with, I mean, it's connected, but I think we will create a new page that then we will expand later on, which is lights, which I will call it Skybox and lights setup. Okay. Now in this page, I want to summarize a bit of the fundamental pieces that we discovered in the last 2 or 3 days regarding lights. By the way, I didn't greet anyone. Hello, Tony. Hello, Yorlak. Hello, Marcelo. Hello, Hula. Hello, Jay. Hello, Sand. Hey, it's a long time I don't see you. How are you? How is your game going? I wonder if this can be branded Planeship 2.2.0 or 2. Maybe. Actually, I don't know. With version numbers, we are a bit weird because we have our initial versions to be, let's say, we have 0 point. Our version numbers are like this: 0 point. Let's say, I know it's a bit stupid, call it major release, but we always been like this: 0 point major release, point minor release. So for example, 0.1 was the Atomic Blue initial version of the game, right? And then we had 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6. These were all the major releases in the old game. And then here we had, you know, a number of sub releases. Now with Unreal Engine, we are at 0.7. So basically this is PS Unreal, okay? Why still 0 after 20 years is a good question. Because actually the game never became a full game, so I guess. So I never felt that we were really at a 1.0 release. I don't know, maybe other developers would have created like 5 or 6 you know, releases of the game, but I don't know, this is how we rolled until today. You've been playing Rust. I played a lot of Rust, more than you can think of. 20 years. Yeah, I count 20 years, I think. I don't know, I lost track, so, and I don't want to count, otherwise I will start to feel old, but yeah, we didn't reach 1.0, but we could do a trick, you know, and just go to 2.0 with this one. It's a possibility, it's a possibility. Okay, so we should have the... I wanted to ask you, Sand, do you manage day and night in your game? And do you manage... I mean, how do you manage the global lights? Because I did a lot of tests, and at the end, I think I confused myself more than what I learned. So... but I think now I know way more than I was knowing like 5 days ago. So I have way more knowledge of lights and what is needed and why. But there are still some fundamental confusions in my mind of what you need to use for an open world streaming level, you know, MMO kind of game, and this still confuse me. So static light, stationary light, dynamic light, stationary on the directional global light, yes or no, you know, but I will tell you now, because now I'm doing like the sum of the sum. Okay, I'm doing like the summary of whatever is affecting lights in our world, and so maybe you will hear it and you can tell me your ideas. You use dynamic lighting only? That's very heavy though, huh? Dynamic, I mean movable, because that's very heavy. I think with the computers of today, maybe we can, but in theory, that's heavy. At least this is what they say, you know, that pure dynamic is a bit too much, but maybe we don't care. I don't know. So what I want to say in our wiki, I want to say that I want to say elements which are elements contributing to lights to day-night cycle. Okay, so the first element and the simplest element is the Okay, we will check that. The first element is the directional light. Okay, so there is one light which is called directional light, which is this guy. Okay, so which is one actor in the scene. So is the actor that is actually residing in the persistent level, right? Which for us is the Iliacum level, okay, which is basically the map that contains all the other maps and is the map that is kind of kicking off the world composition. So you don't have permanent lighting, like no built light, no point light in the rooms. So like if you have a tavern, I mean, how is the tavern lit? Is just lit by items that you drop? Because you know the big issue of dynamic lights is that, now that I know because I did the training for it, the biggest issue of dynamic lights is that they are not smooth, they are sharp. So if you have a box here, right, and you have a light here, the shadow that this box will trace on the ground, right, will be perfectly sharp, right, because there is a dynamic light. While if you have a mix of dynamic and static, you will actually have a more proper bounces of indirect light, and so you know the result will be nicer, will be less sharp shadows, right? But I don't know if you want it, but I mean that's the theory behind it at least, right? So when you want precise lighting, then you should use more the static type. When you want sharper one, you can use dynamic. So, but okay, so at the moment, directional light is set as movable. Okay, there is no reason why this should be movable. No reason. So we put this to stationary. So this will be the first change that we're gonna do. Okay. So we set that to stationary because the light itself is not gonna move, right? Actually, because it's global, it will only change in color and intensity, right? Yeah, the distance field shadows are making soft shadows only at distance though, like the name says. So the distance fields are working only when you look far away. So when the normal the normal shadows are going away, are not rendered anymore. And we are using distant fields as well. Yes, you can use level loading to swap different. Yeah, we have considered also that option, but I don't think that option is very good for a permanent world. Meaning that meaning that the light should slowly transition between day and night. You know, it's not a switch like you reach a new level and in that level is night. I think you can do it maybe in other games like single player games, but switching, I think that was probably not. So okay, the second, so this directional light is managed. So he has a few properties which I think it will be interesting to mention here. And the property that we are going to change are the intensity and the light color, right? So we change the intensity and we change the light color. These are the two elements that we change in the directional light. Then the other important one, right? The other important one, still in persistent level. Let me see if I can. Okay, the other important one is the skylight, right? The skylight, which is actually, I don't know why it's movable as well. It makes absolutely no sense to be movable, right? It must be stationary, okay? So skylight, okay. There is also an, well, it's also an actor in the persistent level, is the same thing. This one is managing, okay. So this one is, let me maybe explain a bit what they do. Okay, so this one is casting light globally, in a certain direction. Okay, in a certain direction, because the only important point of directional light, like the name says, is that it has one direction, right? One direction. So, so the skylight is the one that is like, let me say, storing, yeah, so stores the color of the skybox and influence all items in the game with indirect light based on the skybox color. Okay, so this one is probably the one that we care the less, right? But still we want to set it. And actually, I think we are setting some of it. We are setting some of it here. We are setting the intensity of the skylight. I don't know if this is really a good idea, but we will test it more, right? So this one is also set to stationary light, stationary movement, I want to call it. So do you have in your level send directional and skylight set as movable then, since you are using only dynamic? So if you go in your main project and you check the skylight and the directional light, are those set as movable? That would be interesting for me. And if yes, why not stationary? Because I think there is no reason why they should be movable, because actually they don't move. You can also use the static scene. Use a post-process. Yes. Every project is on consideration. I hate when people come to my channel. No, for me it's okay. I mean, in my case, I'm trying to learn from people, and we had some very knowledgeable people joining the stream sometimes. So there's even people that build some pieces of of the game for me. Maybe small pieces, but it makes a difference. Okay, because for the directional light, right, I don't know which kind of difference it can make, but because directional light is an object that doesn't have a position, right? So you cannot, I mean, you can move it, but it will do no difference wherever it is in the level. It's just a global setting, right? I don't know why they don't put it maybe in a different, I mean, in the setting panel, in the world panel. But anyway, they probably there is a reason, but whatever reason, this thing doesn't move, right? So setting it to movable is kind of weird to me. But probably it's because it allows you to have zero light maps, right? So maybe if you set it to movables, it will pay, but I don't know the impact on the performance. I don't know. Anyway, we set it to stationary. So of this one, we are changing the intensity only. This is what we are setting. So we manage the intensity. Then there is another item, right, which is the actual Skybox. Okay, the Skybox is a bit of our own item, so is a BP Sky, BP underscore Sky. So is an actor is an actor in the persistent level, exactly in the same way. And this actor in the persistent level allows us to which contains all the logic for rain, snow, fog, etc. Right? So all the weather, time of the day, because it's the one that is changing the time of the day, and is containing the actual Skybox, you know, the actual Skybox, which is a mesh, which is called DOM. I mean, it's a static mesh. It's a static mesh which is called DOM, and then is managing clouds. Yes, let me say clouds and time of the day. Okay. Okay, and so of this guy, we are only managing one parameter, which is called light, which is actually a scalar parameter on the texture applied to the Skybox mesh, right? So we manage this parameter, which is on the material. Why I said on the texture? On the material applied to the Skybox mesh. Yes, and it is another one that we are changing. Then the next and last is the fog, right? Is the fog. And the fog, like I said, I need to do this. I need to set this fog, and then I need to do the set and scattering, whatever. Set fog in scattering color, right? Set fog in scattering color, yes. And this one, I think would be nice if we can manage it separately. I think it would be better if I can add a new parameter. Softcore Rust, I've seen it. I think it's very interesting. I've seen it a bit, but I didn't really try it. If you want, we can play together sometimes. But I didn't test it much, but I've seen it. So there is a part of the items that you can recover. I think it removes a bit the beauty of Rust, which is the fear to lose your stuff. But I mean, it removes a bit of the survival part, even if you're not recovering all your items, but you're recovering a part of the items. But I don't know. Actually, this fog color should actually not be a float, should be a color. But for now, we will go with a brutal single value, and that's it. Just because at the moment we don't need anything more than that for our test. Then maybe we will do something better. But for our test, I think we don't need any more than this. But yes, I played a lot of Rust, and I really like the game. It's just tough to play solo, but I usually play solo. But yeah, it's kind of tough to play solo actually. I played in a team only once or twice. I mean, a team meaning large teams, so like a team of like 10 people or so, and I mean, it was kind of amazing because obviously, 4 hours after the wipe, we were raiding bases with rocket launchers, exactly 4 hours. So, it's a completely different feeling. It's a completely different game. I mean, it's not comparable in any way to Rust solo. But I'm a Rust player since the beta. I mean, since where they were dogs and then zombies before the dogs. So I played it very long time ago. Okay, so we set this. Now this one is called by, I think it's a very, very nice game. Yes, I think this one we are calling it from my character blueprint. And it's called Test Light. Ah, really? I know it's called from the option panel. Wait. It's called from the option panel. I think it's called from the, yeah, it's called from here. Okay, so we have the fog color. Let's add the fog color as well as another box. I don't know if I want to put some, but maybe yes, because it starts to be confusing. Huh? Since now we have a lot, let me put, even if it's just a test, so we will delete all of this, but I think it makes sense to start to move all of that to line number 7. And because otherwise I will, our test will not be very easy to do, okay? And move these boxes to, and move this thing to 6, and we will just put it, so the first one is Skybox Light, okay? Skybox Light. So at least we have a better way to know what we are doing. Otherwise, because at the beginning was only 1. Now we start to have 4, and when we do the tests, that's not very nice. Okay, the second one is Skylight Intensity. Skylight Intensity. Unfortunately, these names are a bit long. The third one is Light Intensity. And the last one is the fog color. Right? Okay, I think it's anyways readable. And so we need the fourth one now. And this one we'll call it fog color. Fog, what? No, what happened? Something happened. Fog color, okay. And the save will go 1 to the right. Okay, good. Good. So we can test from here. You got a lot of crafting. Can make vending machine to make player shops. Yes, that's very nice as well. Yeah, it's becoming bigger and bigger, I think that. But now there is a big hype for it because they did a lot of advertisement, I guess, on Twitch. So there is a lot of people playing it, and it's becoming, you know, bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm very happy about it because there are more players. So you now see again stone walls on twig foundations, you know. Which is something that I was not seeing since long time, which is when new players are joining, they build houses with twig foundations and stone walls, and you go like, okay, this is a new player. It was a long time I was not seeing that, but now there are a lot. You can really find a lot of them. or people with open locks, right? And yeah. So so what we want to do, we want to go here now and take our fog color. Yes. And we want to get exactly the same boxerinos here. And to put, oops, and to put this one into fog color, okay, which then goes into that one. Okay, so we should be ready. We should be nearly ready to test. This one I connected it. Okay. So what we want to test, what is the right value to have a proper night, right? Yes, I was finishing the wiki thingy. So the next one is the fog. How is the item called? It's called exponential height fog, right? Exponential height fog, which is also an actor in the persistent level. I mean, it's a bit of a repetition, but okay. And this one is managing the fog. So careful to change its color at night, or the sky dome will stay lit, okay, which was the problem we were having. So basically it was the fog that was still showing some light because we were not lowering the color. See you Sen. Thanks for stopping by. See you soon. Okay. So of this one we are managing the light color. Okay. So this is just a short recap of all the elements that are contributing to the day and night cycle. The important point is that these two are set to stationary, and yeah, your directional light is movable. I think you don't need it movable, but I don't know. I mean, that's my take. I think you can move, you can change it to stationary and it should be fine. It should be identical in theory, but I don't know. Now we have 4,405 objects that need to be rebuilt, and I understand that. Unfortunately, we cannot spend 1 hour rebuilding, so I think that we will just leave with the fact that the lights will be slightly wrong, okay? So that the lights will not be okay. Because I don't want to spend 1 hour rebuilding, right? But I think we did all the changes that we needed. Yes, I think we did all the changes that we needed. So I think we can go and, okay, let me try to start the server and the client. Did we do all the changes that we needed? No, I think that we miss... well, one thing that we miss now is the fact that the lights in the level are static, right? While we want to move them to stationary. So like this light will still not cast light on me, okay? Because it's static. So I need to move it to stationary, right? If I want to do what I want to do. If I do it now, I think I can do it now, because anyway, it will make no difference. Okay, let me test like this, and then we will test also by changing that. Okay. And meanwhile, I will put some background music. Okay. Okay. This part looks fine, but consider that on this one we already recalculated the lights, so... So what we are testing is if we have in all the elements to produce a night. And then the second thing we need to decide together is how dark we want this night to be. So we need to decide the minimum and maximum, right? I don't know now, so some items may be fucked up, okay? Some items may be fucked up when I change the values because they have not been relit. But let's see. So let's try 1, 1, 1, and 1 just to see what is changing. I would say that 1, 1, and 1, and 1 is already way better. So we are, at the moment we are overdoing it. So the light is too bright. It's overall too bright. I don't think we ever want a light like this. Maybe in the desert, I don't know, but I think it's too bright. Now we need to decide. Okay, now we have all these parameters that we can change. So Skybox Light. Skybox Light should be the color of the skybox. So if I go to 0.5 only on this one and I leave all the others as 1, you'll see that this one is becoming darker. Now we are not touching the color here, so it's becoming also more gray, but that's a matter of fact. There is not much I can do about it for now. I mean, with this simulation. But as you can see, I can even go to very, very low numbers and it's still staying lit. The reason is the fog color. So if I don't go down with the fog color, exactly, that one will never go down, right? Will never go down. Now the question is, why there is a kind of a beam of light? Do we have we do, huh? Do we have a real light shining? I mean, I don't think we do. Fog color 0. No, I think it's the directional light that is doing this together with the fog. So basically I cannot go Skybox Light 002 or 0 and go fog color 0 and keep my Skylight Intensity, right? Because it would make no sense. Sorry, just one thing I'm confused. Why I called it Skylight Intensity? Skylight. Skylight is really Skylight. Okay. Yes. So Skylight is what it is. So it's that one. While light is the directional light. Okay. So we should not make that mistake. Okay. So if I change Skylight and I put it to, let's say, 0.5, that one will change only the reflections. Okay, the one that is really going to change the scenery here is the light intensity, which is the directional light. So if this one I put it to 0.5, everything will start to become really way darker, and also the shadows will be much less, and the effect here will be much less. If I go to 0.2, it will be way darker. If I go to 0.1, I was expecting it to, because it's still the skylight that is generating indirect lights, huh? I think so, because at this point, yes. You see how they modulate? I mean, you see how they modulate? I mean, how complex is the system and how they modulate, really? So, at the moment, even if I have a direct light of 0.01, which is basically nothing, should be nearly complete darkness, I still have indirect lighting from the skybox to be 0.5 or 0.2, and it's still, I mean, at 0.5, it still looks like day, but it is only indirect lights. In fact, my shadow is basically unexisting now. Even if it's basically unexisting again right now, because probably I'm not changing the... that's interesting that I lost my shadow. I completely lost my shadow. Probably because we... Why? I can press E. I'm too far. Yeah, this distance is a bit annoying. So, okay. So the idea is that I need to reduce the skylight. If I don't reduce the skylight, it will never be night, because the indirect light will be too strong. Right? Hello, good evening, Monty. So the big question, you solved the arcane of static lights. I learned more about it, and I think, but no, I didn't solve it. The only thing that I can say is that, in addition to the discussion we did yesterday, is that even if an object is movable, but is in the level while you are recalculating the lights, he will get light maps with the lights that he has around him, which is the picture that I posted yesterday on Discord, where basically the movable that I moved in another place was keeping the light maps and was staying lit even if moved, which is which basically demonstrate the fact that static lights are basically baked into the texture no matter what, even if the object is movable, which it was not what I was expecting, but you know, that's what it is. But then another thing that I solved is so basically the decision is fuck static lights, we go with the stationary light. And also because the problem of the static lights is that they are not giving any kind of reflection or specular, and they are not giving you the shadows, and your character will not have shadows, so it's starting to look a bit too weird. And I think we can use static light. For example, if you have, I don't know, this house, and this house has at the top, you know, one light, that one can be static, because no players will ever reach that place in theory, and even if he reaches it, we don't care, right? But it's probably the only place where you can really use a fully static light. For the rest, we are going to use stationary lights. Then the second thing that I solved, or anyway decided, is that how to change the color of the sky. So the color of the sky was a problem because it was still staying lit, and the reason it was staying lit is because we had the fog in it, and the fog in the level, and the fog is anyway influencing the lights also of the skybox, because you are looking through the fog to reach the skybox. So now this is why I have 4 parameters here, and one is the fog color. And now I'm testing which values we need to have the best night setup, and then we will pass it on to the actual time of the day system. So this is what I'm doing. Okay. So the question is, do we want a night to be like this, or is too much? Is a night like this too much? Yeah, I think I got some progress overall, yes. Is a night like this too much? So a night that you can barely see. Let me try to bump the fog and see what happens, but I think that if I bump the fog, the result will be that the sky will become lit and everything else not, which I think anyway is a bad idea. So let's say that the fog color should always be in sync with the light intensity. Or anyway, I mean, all these 4 values have to be balanced, right? You cannot have a fog color of 1, right? So because this means that, you see, in distance, the more distant is the object, and the more you're gonna see it, because the fog is white, right? Now, at the same time, I don't think I want a sky that is fully black. So let me try to keep the fog color to 0 and boost the skybox, but I think we still will not see it probably. Oh no, we can. We can see it. We can see it, huh? Okay, so in theory we could have, so a day without fog. I think fog should really be used with care. And I don't even know if I really want it, by the way. But can I go above 1? Yes, I can. Wow, the fog became emissive now. The fog became emissive because it's above 1. You see the fog in the distance, which, by the way, is blending well with the water. There's a bit of a distortion going on there. Okay. Night should be dark. Dark would be fine. You had some trouble for because I don't know. We need to decide this. It's a kind of a decision. I think I would appreciate, you know, a night being dark up to the point that you can still move, but it feels like night. I want to feel like night. Otherwise, you see how the fog color is messing up with us now? And the skylight as well. And the skybox as well. Wow, this is a bit too much. It's a very hard balance, right? It's a very hard balance to... I think I had a good setting before, but now... Light intensity. It makes so much difference how you balance these two. It makes so much difference how you balance these two parameters. So the indirect light and the direct light. Basically, this one, skylight, is the indirect light, and this one, light intensity, is the direct the direct one. So shadows will be visible if the direct light has a value, right? So if I basically go, this one I go to 0, my shadow, even if I boost this one to 1 probably, yes, I lost my shadow, you see? Because this is only indirect light that is coming through me. While if I do the opposite, this will be only direct light, which looks very bad, by the way. Makes things look weird. Probably because the intensity is not enough at that point, right? So I will have to go with a light of 4 or something, but this looks more like a spotlight, like an electronic light, right? Which is coming down because you have no diffusion. You have no yes, indirect light, right? So it always need to be a mix. So during the day, it must be a mix between these two. Even if somehow, you know, I like this light to be strong because it looks really like a sun or something. I mean, it really looks like... But at the same time, I think that this setting, which is the current setting, is really... The light is really too strong and it's like burning your eye, right? While 11111 is this, which gives you much more pastel colors, so it's more relaxing light. It's a more relaxing light. Maybe I should completely disable the thing, the 10 seconds refresh, because it's a bit annoying. But yes, the fog color is only affecting distant objects. So the fog color is not too much of a problem apart from when we want the night to happen. So this value for the day is not an issue. This value for the day is a bit of an issue. Wait. No, it's not an issue. Because this one also is affecting only the skybox. So let's say that actually the first and the last value should go together. And the second and the third should go together, right? Because they are managing distant and close objects. So if I want, you know, the sky to be really dark, I do this. Now I still have some intensity of the light, but if I want, so I only need to check. So for the daylight, I only need to check these two. Now, let me try to understand what is the value. Wow, I think the value that he has, wow, is super high. I think the value that is in the default is something like 2.2 or close to that. Probably the light, the direct light is even stronger. You see the shadow? You see the shadow? In the default that we have now is stronger than this. So it means that the, let me boost this to see if my shadow goes away. Yes. So probably is something like, well, I can print it out, but I think it's something like this or more. I think it's even more. It's even more. Really? I can print it out anyway. I can print it out. Yes, it's pretty much like this. Yes, you see that it basically makes no difference now apart from the sky. So it's like 1.55 at the moment. Tick back to, yeah, the black fog, we should use it only in the night. That's the only time in which the fog should go to a dark color. Otherwise the sky will remain lit by the fog. Right? But yes, at the moment we have this value, or something that is very close to this value. I think I can print it out anyway. I can print out what we have at the moment. I don't know if I need to, but I think it would be interesting anyway. So before this, let me print out, can I do get scalar parameter value? No. I think I need to go get material. And then I need to go get scalar. No. How do I get a parameter out of get parameter info? No. Strange. I was hoping that with get material I would be able to get a parameter. Actually, I can get a parameter info, but probably it's this one though. Yeah, I think it's probably this one. I think it's probably this one. We can try to print out this value and see what we have. So this will be Skybox Light. Association, name and index. What? No, it's not this thing then. Let me just search how I get parameter value from material. Get material instance vector parameter value. Get material instance. The question is it a material instance? But probably yes, because otherwise I could not set the parameter, right? So that's the idea. Skybox. Wait. No, this one is actually, it's not a material instance, this one is a material. But he has a parameter. I want to get the scalar parameter value from the material. Two for direct light may be enough, yeah. You know what? I'm gonna do it. I think it's a bit stupid trying to do it here. Why I need to do it here? I can do it when I set it. Much easier. Forget about this. Forget about all of this. We are just gonna do it when we set it, okay? Because there is a place where we actually set those values. And yes, I think it's here. Is in apply. I think it's in apply 1, no? I think it was in apply 1. Yes. Now there are a freaking million parameters anyway, but there is also the fog density. Oh my god. Okay. We can do this. We can do this. Okay, fog, in scattering, color. We will do them all, okay? So there will be no... there will be no doubt, you know, that we are printing it all. Fog density, I don't care. Then we have this one, which is important, which is the light on, the skybox. So this one we will call it Skybox light, right? And I want the same guy to go there. Yeah, it will be a bit messy for all these prints, but then the cloud color, no, the cloud color we don't care, the cloud density we don't care. Yes, we care about the skylight intensity, which is one of our 4 parameters. So it is skylight intensity. And we care about the skylight skylight color. No, skylight color we don't have. Oh my god, there is also skylight color. Hey. Okay, let's print it out because this one I'm interested. I don't know why why we should change the color of that is not completely clear to me, but I mean I'm okay in changing the intensity. Changing the color. But anyway. We will print it out just to understand what is going on, okay? And then this one is the important one, which is the directional light. Let's call it light. Let's call it directional light, so at least we understand something. Directional light intensity. And it is the primary one that creates the shadows, right? Okay. And that's it. So in addition, we just have the skylight color that we don't manage, but our system is actually managing. Okay. I will turn off the music. Okay, so let's save it like this. Now, it would be very nice if, for example, in the desert, we could have a slightly different there's a slightly different light and fog, and so, but I mean we can do it because the player can be in one place only at one time, lucky, and so it doesn't know if we change globally the fog. It doesn't know. So we can change globally the fog. It thinks it's only in the desert. In reality, it's not. But I think it's fine because it can be only one place at one time. Unless he can see through the eyes of his familiar. But if we will be able to see through the eyes of his familiar, then we will anyway apply the fog again, because in that place, anyway, at the moment it's not possible. So you see that also not rebuilding the lights is anyway possible to do the tests. Now here we are testing in a situation which is not exactly like the final one, but I think it's very similar. I think it's pretty close to the final one. The current light anyway is insane. I mean, it's super strong. The current light makes absolutely no sense. Okay, so let me see what happens. I forgot to disable the music. Fuck. Ah, here it is. Okay. Let me copy paste this thing. Let me copy paste this. And okay, and let me put it just for historical record. Let me put it in the wiki as well. So default, let me say 0.77. Let me do 0.76. Let me do 0.74. No, I don't know. I mean up to 0.77 release, right? These were the values, right? For maximum light. So that is up to 770 release values, okay, and it is at midnight, at noon. So at noon we have this. So we have an in-scattering color which is of the fog. Well, the fog is the one that we cared the less, but anyway, so we have okay, in scattering color of nearly blue, because blue is 0.8, right? 0.9 of the fog. So the fog tends to be azure a bit. Okay, fine. The Skybox light, which is the indirect Skybox light, is 2.0, so it's pretty strong. The Skylight Intensity is 1.5. No, sorry. This one is the material of the Skybox. So this is the real dome, okay? Is 2. The indirect light is this one, 1.5, which anyway is pretty strong, 1.5. The color of the skylight, I don't know why we are managing it, but anyway, is basically white. I mean, there is a bit of an azure because it's more blue than, but... And the directional light is 5, yeah, so my estimation was pretty much correct. So we have nearly a 5 for direct light. Nearly a 5, okay? So that is at noon. And I want to see also the values at night. So if I go midnight, fuck, but I have to wait so much to reach it. Okay, let me put back it's taking too much, and so I need to reduce the cycle to 1 second, otherwise it will take me forever. The cycle, there was a timer, right? It was ticking a time. Here it is. This was taking every second, and I changed it to every 10 seconds. So it's taking 10 times what it was, and it's too much. I hope this time I remember to disable the music. So I'm just trying to get the current values and to compare them and understand which kind of values we want, okay? It's a bit of a tedious process, but I think it's the best for us to not make a stupid mistake. So anyway, to understand. Fuck, I forgot the music again. Wow, time flies. It's already 11:14. Oh my god. Music. Okay, I'm there. Eh? 0. I did it. Otherwise, we have double music. The one from the background and the plane shift one on top of each other, which is not great. Which is not great. Okay, now it should change every second, so it should be fairly quick to go in nighttime. If I do this, this is like slowly but surely going to nighttime. So this is the current nighttime in theory. So the current nighttime is... Are these changing or they are always the same? No, they're always the same. Every second I'm printing it, but in reality at the moment it's not changing. Okay, it's actually doing the settings, but it's not changing. Where I was? Here. Okay, so at night, yeah, we don't need all of this because these are all repetitions. There's only 5 values. These are the most important values. Then there are others, but like the clouds color, the cloud density, but that I think we don't care too much. Right? So just for recording this. So so at night, the sky color... Wait, why is not the same set? Wait. Because I didn't pick them in the same sequence, whatever. Skylight Intensity, and then... Okay, these two are here. Okay, now they are in the same sequence. So in scattering fog, at night went down a lot. So it basically went down to 0. So I think that this is correct. So we want the fog to basically completely disappear, right? And it's changing. I would even argue that it must be really 0, but it's also going down in the alpha. But okay, so I think that the fog color is probably correct as it is. The calculation seems to be fine. The calculation seems to be fine, so I don't think we have a problem with this parameter. The Skybox light, it goes from 2 to 1 to 0.15, right? The Skylight Intensity, so I think that this one is still too high. That is one of the issues at night. The Skylight Intensity is going to from 1.5 to 0.1. The skylight color I don't care, and the, which by the way is changing, is becoming brighter. Why? You see that it's becoming brighter? So at night, I don't know. I mean, not bright, but anyways, yeah, it's becoming slightly bright. I mean, it's... Anyway, we don't care about this one. And the directional light is 0.3, which is also the problem, is too strong. So I think that these two must be tweaked down. No, sorry, these two. the Skylight Intensity and the Directional Light Intensity. I think 0.11 is still probably still too much, but you know, the good news is that we can test it. Now if I test it now, I think it will go it only lasts 1 second, so it's very hard to see. I think now that we have those values, I think we can go back to the 10 seconds. So that we have the time, you know, to do our tests, and then it will be reset. And but I think we are on the right path. I think we will fix it tonight. I mean, we will decide it tonight. I don't know why there are this bunch of errors there, really. I have no idea. But okay. So now it's changing every 10 seconds. So let's see what we want to do. Let's see what we want to do for the day and for the night. So for the day, the fog color, I think I don't want to touch it. Unfortunately, I don't think I can in my test avoid touching it, but let's say that we leave it at 1, okay? So it is not doing any difference. The Skybox light at the moment is at 2. At the moment is at 2. Why the music is playing again? Fuck it. I didn't fix it, huh? So the music is not reading the... Is not reading? Crap. Okay. So this one is 2. Why if I put the volume to 0 is still playing? Because it's not that one, it's this one. Okay. Yes. Now the Skylight Intensity is 1.5 and the light intensity is basically 5, it's 4.96, but anyway, a million. Okay, so if I click on save, in theory nothing should change. Okay, nothing is changing apart from the color of the fog. Yes, the sky becomes a bit more gray because the color of the fog is actually 1 and is not 1, but yeah, that's a bit of a problem, but I don't have a way to, I mean, in this, okay. So I think that we need, I don't know why the Skybox should be so much bright. So let me try to go to 1 instead of 2. Ah, fuck, but the fog is fucking me up. If I put the fog to 0, becomes independent, but it's not exactly what we want. So I cannot really reproduce it. But I don't think we want the sky to be overly bright. right? So I would say 1 would be probably more than enough during the day. And the fog color is okay. So I think we can... So let me put some settings that we may try, okay? So we want basically to have, so we are changing, I don't think we are changing all of them, we're just changing 1 or 2. But at noon we want to have this one to be, the fog we don't care, is okay. We want to have this one as 1. We want to have the Skylight Intensity, which is basically the second one, which is the one that is giving the indirect light to, I don't know if 1.5 is okay, but I think probably even 1 is okay. And definitely we want to reduce this one. You were suggesting 2. I think 2 is very nice from the point of view of I mean, it's a very relaxing color. I mean, it doesn't burn your eyes. 1 even more, but it starts to be a bit too dark, maybe to be noon. I think probably 2 can be a good setting, actually. I think 2 can be a good setting. 1.5. I think 2 is good. I think 2 is good. I think we want to change... we want to change this one to 1. Let me try 2, but this one at 1.5. Want to see the difference between this one and this one. I definitely prefer it at 1. I definitely prefer it at 1. So this one goes to 1, this one goes to 2, and the skylight color we don't care. So at night, I mean the maximum night again, we are discussing about the maximum values. At night, I think that again the fog color is okay the way he sets it, and the sky color we don't really care. So we only have these 3 parameters to play with, right? And so we need to move from this going down. The sky is a bit too bright still though, but it's okay. Now this one feels too bright now that I'm starting to have my eyes on it, but I think it's okay. Is noon anyway. Noon will not last too much. Even if I think that we have a distribution of the light that is something like during the hours of the day, I think it's something like this, right? Where here is noon. So I think that we have a fairly long time where it stays the same, and then it goes down and up quickly between 6 in the morning and 7 or 8 in the morning, and here is only in the late evening, like between probably 10 p.m. and 12. So the day is fairly long. The day is fairly long, but it's okay. I think this is the way we want it. Okay, so now from here going down, right? From here going down. So the Skybox light, I think we can leave it as it is. We don't care. I think it was already correct, we said. Is 0.15. Well, we can check, but I think at night is probably okay. Is 0.15. So at night the Skybox light is 0.15. The Skylight Intensity is 0.11. The light intensity is 0.3. Yeah, this one I think is really too high. And the fog basically goes to 0. I mean, it's 0.2 or something. Okay, so this is the night. It looks a bit darker than the actual night, but okay. I guess. Also, you still have the shadow, which is a bit stupid to have a shadow at night. I mean, without other lights, right? But, I mean, I think the crystal can still emit a bit of light, but not too much. So I think that I want to have... so looking at the Skybox, that is definitely too bright. I mean, it's super bright. So I think the fog color at night needs to go to 0. There's no way. Yes, the fog color needs to go to 0. Otherwise, it becomes stupid. So here I think at night we have an additional value. Which is 0.0. Well, 0.06 I think is okay though. Let me try 0.06. Between this and this. Fuck. 0.06. No, I think it really needs to be 0. It needs to go to full 0. Full 0. The fog should be completely 0 at night. And the Skybox. The Skybox should be... At the moment it's 0.15, right? The moment is 0.15. I think by the way, this light is affecting also that one. So this Skylight Intensity, this one is affecting also the sky anyway, because is getting the indirect light. So as we lower this one, the sky will become anyway darker. And as we lower this, so we need to test them all together. I mean, it's impossible to do one by one because they are all combined, you know? They are all... So if I boost this one, it will look a bit like a moon, right? So if I keep the light low, but this one higher, you see, we go back to, but I think it's too much. So I think that the values pretty much are close to this. Oh my god, the eyes are kind of glowing. Holy shit, boys. This is scary. I think something like this will be okay. I don't know if I want to go too much darker than this, because I think that new players... that's the new players thing is a bit annoying though. If a new players join when you create a character, right? And for bad luck, you are in the night. You don't have a torch, or we give a torch to every player. Yeah, maybe. Maybe you should give a torch to every player, and the problem is solved. I don't know if like this is okay, or is too dark. I mean, I can see, but obviously it's a bit annoying to move, right? I think the sky is very nice because it looks, I mean, I can see just very few bits far away. And here a bit in the middle where the crystal is, so... But... I think it's okay. I think I would go with something like this. Let me see the other... Let me see if I'm in an alley or in... But I will make no difference, right? Because since the light is not projected from any place, every location will look exactly the same. Because nothing is casting shadows at this point. Because there is basically so little light. So it's not that an alley is really... Well, maybe... Yeah, a wall may be very dark, but you will be anyway barely visible. I think like this is perfect. I think it feels like night, but it's not completely dark, and so it's not annoying. If I go below this, which we can try, but let me save these values, okay? So it is 0.05 in the Skybox light. Skylight intensity is 0.1. Directional light intensity is 0.1. And fog is 0, okay? So if I go below this, what I can do, I can remove a bit of the... I can keep this one the same, so the indirect, but I can go down with this one, right? So I can go down to 0.5, which still is fine, but I can even try to go to 0, but then it will look a bit stupid because it's only indirect. I think I have to move... I think I have to move these two together. So I have to move these two. Yeah. I need to move them together because the value is so low. But you know, like this, I think would be very annoying. I think this is super annoying. You don't see shit, and you start to say, who the fuck created this game? I think like this is perfect. On my screen, then I don't know. We have to test it on maybe on other screens, like on other monitors. I don't know which kind of brightness I have at the moment, but I mean, my screen is pretty bright. But I mean, the white is really lighting me up. I mean, if I look at my sweater, is super white. So so maybe my brightness. We can even let the player change it if we want, you know. Yeah, exactly. We were saying the same thing. Yeah, we could even let the players change this a bit. But I want to have good settings. Okay, I think this is a good setting. Let's leave it like this. Let's leave it like this. I think it's a very good setting. 0, 005, 0101. Okay, now the problem is, how do we tell the current engine to use these values? Because there are some very weird calculations going on. Some very weird calculations. So we need to catch those calculations. So let me go back to what is it? To 1 second here. So the next time it will be okay. So fog scattering color. So this one unfortunately is not drastic enough. So during the day, so we need to change. The fog during the day is okay. The problem is the fog during the night, because the fog during the night really needs to go to 0. So I don't know how to do it, but we may just say that when it's below a certain value, goes to 0. I think that's probably the best that we can do. Okay, so let me see what is this doing. There is a fog default color. Dun-dun-dun-dun. There is a fog default color, which is this thing, 3, 4, 8, whatever, which gets multiplied by the value that we get here. So in reality, we should have printed out probably this one, but curve light. So this is multiplied directly by the curve light. So if you want that to go at 0, we can just change this curve. The problem is that this curve is used. Let me see where else is used. I mean, we can make a fog. We can make a fog curve. We can add it. Maybe that would be the best, actually, because the curve light is also used in the Skybox. Yeah, let's make another. Let's make is used here. Is used for the. No, it's used in too many places. I think we need to create another one, otherwise we will just confuse ourselves. So let me put another variable. We will duplicate this one, and we will call it fog light. And we will call it fog light, and I will place it close to this one so they stay next to each other. And fog light will use another, wait, so we will duplicate this one, and we will call it fog light. And so basically what we want to do, we want at 0.2 instead of being, I mean, we want this thing to really go to 0, okay? And I would say that probably also this we want it to go to 0. I think this thing should go to 0 fairly quick. I don't know. Can I make this longer? No. I want to make it longer, but it's not. It's not doing it. No. 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 Well, I can do this. But anyway, I think like this will already be okay. Because I think anyway the light goes down here, and when the light is at 0.2, I think we are still during, I mean, at the evening. So I think the important point is that this thing should go to 0 here, and it should go to 0 here as well. The quickest possible. Okay, then anyway there are like small changes, but I think this is okay. So let's try this one. So this one will be the fog light, so it will be multiplied by, so basically in fog light we use the curve of fog light now, and oh my god, fog light, and yes, and so now when it's multiplied, it will be multiplied by, will be multiplied properly if we use the fog light here. Okay, wait, I'm not in the right place. Wait, I'm not in the right place. Is this one, this, well, the problem is that this one is going in a number of other places. That's the issue. But I think we can have something dedicated to light. I mean to fog. Yeah, let's split it, because I think it's not very nice that anyway is the same going in a million places. So let's do this. I don't understand this clamp, by the way. I mean, clamp between 0 and 100. I mean, it will never be 100. But okay. Okay, so the fog should be fixed in theory with this change. The fog should be fixed. Now we have the problem of the skybox light. The skybox light. This one is coming from down here, and is multiplied by a light multiplier. Okay, so I think it is the one that we need to bring down. The problem is in how many other places this one is used. Yeah, quite a number. Is used also in the skybox light, and plus there is some other numbers coming out from here. Holy shit. The skybox light, we need to decrease it. Yeah, but basically we need to decrease it by a factor of 2. So we need to divide it by 2. So I think if I put light multiplier to 1, I think would be okay. The problem will be at night, because I mean at night is really a lot, because 0.15 divided by 2 will be 0.07, and we wanted to have a 0.05. Well, maybe I can just lower a bit the curve, but I think that going light multiplier 1 will already fix a lot of our issues, actually. And so this will be for the skybox light, even if there is this fucking plus 0.3. Why there is this plus 0.3? Let me remove it and see what happens. But I want a pure value between 0 and 1. So during the day, maximum should be 1, so I don't want 1.3, right? So I want maximum 1, so okay. So this one should be okay, roughly okay. Then we have the Skylight Intensity. The Skylight Intensity, sorry, why the Skybox light is changed twice? I have no idea. But anyway, we changed the multiplier, so it should be fine. Fuck! Fuck! I'm changing something that is not what I need to change. It's not the right place. Fuck. That is the lightning flash. Okay, so this is not the right place to change it. There is the flash for the light, and so that makes sense that it's going up plus 0.3. It's not here, it's not here, it's not here. Sorry, this one is not here. Nah, I got confused. Why I got confused? I don't know, because I clicked on that one. But anyway, this one we changed it correctly, which is the fog. This one we changed it. Okay, and this one is the one we need to. Okay, Skylight Intensity. Okay, it was not in the right place. I don't know why. But we changed the multiplier, which I think is okay. Now, the only problem is that, you know, here it was having a lightning flash, and the lightning flash was multiplying the light by 2, which I think it makes sense, but this light multiplier, I'm finding it also here, and it is not very nice. I don't like this light multiplier. Fuck the light multiplier. This will be 1, okay? And so we will use only the light multiplier in here for the flash, and we will rename it flash multiplier. Right? We will rename this variable and we will call it flash light multiplier, or flash multiplier. What else? Because flashlight looks like the item, but and this one can stay as 2, it's no problem. During the flash, in a thunder, during the flash, you can stay at 2. I don't have a problem with this. I just want that this one is not influencing my other variables during the normal daylight. Check the changes before doing more mess. Thank you for the confidence. No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. So this one, everything is checked in anyway, so I can do a comparison between the two at any time. So here we don't multiply anymore by 2, right? So this one now, on the Skybox, we actually reduced from 2 to 1, so it's correct. So this one should be fine. Now the next one is the Skylight Intensity, which is this one, right? Which was 1.5. And yes, you see there is a 1.5 multiplier. So I think we can just remove this 1.5 multiplier and we are good. This 1.5 multiplier, we don't want it. So we just want the pure value, which goes maximum to 1 and minimum. Here there is a problem though, because the minimum is the problem. The minimum is the problem. Because we want a 0.05. Well, I can clamp it. It's already clamped. Okay, so let's clamp it to 0.05, which is the minimum that we want for the Skylight Intensity. No, 0.1. Sorry, 0.1 for the Skylight Intensity. So I think it was already okay. It was just the multiplier to remove, which is this one. Now for the Skybox light, maybe we can have also the clamp, huh? At the moment it's not clamped, I think. It's clamped to 0. No, it's not clamped. It's not clamped at all. So maybe let's put a clamp here, which I think is a good idea. So we go to the minimum value that we want. The minimum value that we want is 0.05, right? And 100 makes no sense in 1. Well, let me keep 10 because maybe we will do some crazy stuff in the future. Okay, so this one is clamped between 0 and then 1, which is the maximum value because there are no multiplication. So you can even remove this multiplier, by the way. Multiplying by 1 is not a great idea. And this one, the Skylight, goes from 0.1 to 1, yes, following the curve light, yes, so this one is correct. This one should be fine. And then the last one is the directional light. The directional light, which is this one. Can we call this variable directional light? Because it's so confusing to have this called light. It's so confusing. Directional light. Okay. Yeah, it's much better because reading it, otherwise I'm getting confused. Okay, so this one is the directional light, and here there are some crazy calculations. I really don't understand what is going on here. I really don't understand what the hell is going on. I mean, it's coming from the same curve light and he's using the same input, so in theory, but for whatever reason he's doing some crazy stuff. What the hell is this? He's taking the default light intensity, which is 7. Okay. He's multiplying it by the value that comes from the curve. So let's say at noon will be 7 multiplied by 1, so will be 7. Then it goes through this other multiplication, which is reducing. You remember that we already considered this, which is multiplying by the fog. So the fog is somehow reducing the light. Good night, Tony. See you soon. Have a good night. So this one is reducing the light. I don't know exactly with these crazy calculations. By a certain percentage, which I think is okay anyway. Let's consider that this is okay. Okay. So this multiplication will be fine. And then is doing the reverse of that. No, it's doing -1. This -1 really to me is a mystery. And then is clamping it to 0.3. Now we want the clamp to be at 0.0, no, at 0.1, We want the clamp to be a 0.1. And we definitely want the maximum value to be 2 instead of 5. Now, the problem is that it will depend on the fog. But I would say that this 7, let me just see where this 7 is used. It's used only here or in other places. It seems to be used only here. So I think that we are not going to break too much stuff if I put this 1 to 4 or to 3.5. Let me just, because we want, wait, it was 7, right? So we need to go from 5 to 2. Now it's a multiplication, so I don't know by which value will be multiplied, but at the beginning by, so I have no idea, but I think it should be like 3 and see what happens. And anyway, the minimum is okay, because I don't know how much this fog is affecting the thing, right? But I think it should be okay like this. And then there is this desaturation post-process parameter, which I have no idea what it does. Okay. Let's try like this. I think it should be very close to what we want. From 7 to 2.8. Okay. My feeling was like 3, but it was just a feeling. Because I don't know how much the bottom part is influencing this, but... And then it removes 1 though, you see? It's removing 1 for whatever reason. So in theory, you should consider a 6 compared to a... I don't know. That thing is GG for me. Okay, let's try now. Let's try now and let's check the different cases. Now we can just slide the time now. We can just slide the... You can use the time slider. Why is it taking so much time to do? Bam, 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 bam. I also want to go to bed a bit earlier today because yesterday we really went up to 1:30 or so. And waking up this morning was not very easy and working the whole day, so... I think I will also go to bed a bit earlier. But I think that now should be fine, huh? Should be fine. What do you mean connection timed out? Come on. You are up. No? I don't know what the server is doing, but... Server being annoying. Ba-da-ba-ba-bam. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-dam. It seems as bright as before. Or not. Or I'm already used to the new setting. For now I'm flying, and flying is very nice. I really like flying. I don't know why it's taking so much. Usually when it's correct, it's taking more time by purpose. Because it doesn't want us to find a solution, you know? Come on, load the level. Come on. Ah. Wow, that house was looking weird for a second, but... Okay, the light I think is not too annoying. Unless you really look at the sun, but that's okay. I mean, if you really look the crystal, I think it's fine that it's annoying. Is it like we wanted? Well, we can check because we have all the prints, so Skybox Light 1, Skylight Intensity 1. Didn't we say 2? Skylight Intensity should have been 2, I guess. Right? So I think that the 2.8 is too low because it's removing 1. I think we need to go to 4 probably. But because at the moment it seems that the Skylight Intensity is 1. No, Directional Light, sorry, Directional Light is 1.3. Okay, 1.3. But wait, I have to go to exactly noon though, huh? Can I set the time? Because I need to be sure that we are at the right time. But I think this is noon, so noon should be the right time. Here in the middle should be the right time. I think it's going to 1.3 instead of 2, but I think it's okay. The Skylight Intensity is 1, and the Skybox Light is 1. So 1, 1. Yeah, we are missing a bit of Directional Light, okay? So which is the last value that we modified, the 2.8. So I think we are missing a bit here. We are at 1.34 instead of 2, but it's not too bad. Okay, let's try to go at night. So we go at night now. No, I think it's okay. Okay, at night, I think it's slightly brighter than what I wanted, but it's pretty close. Yeah, I think it's slightly more bright than what I wanted, but it feels it's pretty close. So the Directional Light Intensity is 0.1. And we wanted 0.1, so it's good. The Skylight Intensity is 0.1 as well, and I think is good. The Skybox Light is 0. We wanted 0.05, 0.07, but okay. And the fog is completely 0. Just the color of the light is changed, but we didn't manage the color of the light. So no, I think it's very, very similar to what we wanted. I think it's very similar to what we wanted. Now, there seems to be a bit of an adjustment compared to... Like, I'm pretty sure if I put those values here, it would change. We can try, but I have the feeling that this is not exactly the final result. Skybox Light 0.075, okay, 0.75. Skylight Intensity 0.1. Light Intensity, which is the Directional Light, 0.1 as well. Fog color, the fog color is fucking me up a bit, but it's basically 1. So I think if I click, it will probably look slightly different. Yes, it does. Wait. No, not much. Only the sky. I think it's okay. I don't know. It looks a bit too bright to me compared to what we decided together. Maybe I missed some values because maybe this one was 0.05 instead of. But no. Ah, wait, the fog color. I fucked up the fog color. Yeah. 0. No, it's not changing compared to this. Did we really say 0.1 everywhere? Zero point 0.1. I don't know, it looks a bit brighter. I mean, it's very close, It's very close, It's very close. Because we are really playing with small numbers. So I think that probably the clamp can be a 0.08 to reach the effect that I was like looking for. But... or 0.07, but I think we are very close. I think we are very close. Let me try a clamp to 0.08. But I think we are there. We are basically there. Yeah, we need then to recalculate the light to ensure that actually we are looking at the... But you know, I'm looking at me, at my character. And I think that some of the items are anyway... How many items we have recalculated? 4,000. Yeah, it may be misleading. It may be misleading actually. So I think I need to launch the recalculation and then tweak it. But I think that some of these values, this 0.1 could be 0.08, okay? But anyway, it's much better than before. As it is now, it's already much better. So I think what I will do, I will launch the recalculation and go to bed. And then tomorrow, I will redo these tweaks, you know, just to be sure that we are in the right spot. And then we can finally test the magic light spell, and we can finally test the particle effects at night and during the day. But then we also need to test another thing. We need to test the trees in the distance. But you see that the trees were okay anyway, yeah? Because we had very weird trees, but I can imagine, you know, if we have a multiplier like it was by 5, there was so much, right? There was so much. So yeah. Okay, I think it's good. I think I'm going to bed, boys. I'm going to recover a bit of sleep tonight compared to yesterday. And if you are new to the stream, please click on follow on Twitch and subscribe on YouTube. And also, if you want to check our Patreon site, is patreon.com/planeshift, where you can get access to the alpha. Ah, we got a new Patreon. Thank you, whoever you are. Let me check who you are. We got a new Patreon. Actually, it should be on the stream if it's a real new Patreon. I cannot see because it's too small. It's too small. I don't know. Maybe someone of the old ones redid it. I mean, maybe someone that was already a Patreon came back, and so it's not actually a new one, but it's let me see. No, it's a new Patreon. It's a new Patreon. Wooter. Thank you, Wooter, for the pledge. Thank you. And so we are 37 now. Yay! Okay, thank you. See you boys tomorrow. Tomorrow I will be streaming, even if it's Friday. I'm not meeting with my friends, and so we're gonna do stuff, right? We're gonna develop PS more. So I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye. Big smile. Cannot really smile, but I'm trying. That is the maximum smile I can do. Good night.